for the shooters. Ian McKenzie says while the laws are a step in the right direction, they're not tough enough.
We should be working towards a society which is relatively free of guns and gun usage.
I think that smacks of gun phobia and discriminates against the rights of every responsible firearm owner in Australia.
Member for Patterson, Bob Baldwin, today said while he doesn't agree with the agenda of yesterday's meeting, he does support all Australians' right of free speech.
An Australian woman holidaying in Italy has been raped, then bashed to death with a rock as her younger sister was forced to watch.
The two women were lured into a car just outside the coastal city of Bari in southern Italy and driven here, a country back road near the small village of Trigiano. The blood-soaked earth marking where the 26-year-old woman died. Today, police scoured the area, collecting evidence against this 22-year-old man and two youths, aged 16 and 17. Police said the older woman was raped and then stoned to death as she tried to resist. Her 17-year-old sister was forced to watch. She was injured but managed to escape and alert locals nearby. The Australians were on a weekend trip to Italy, having recently moved to France from Melbourne, where their parents still live. The ferocity of the attack has shocked Italy, making national news in a country where violent killings are commonplace. In Bari, local youths who knew the girls described the murder as crazy. Tonight, the teenage sister is recovering in a hospital in Bari. Meanwhile, some of Italy's top detectives have been brought in to investigate the case.
Police believe Sydney diver Pat Bowring, missing off Bondi Beach since Friday, died of natural causes but may have been later taken by a shark. Experts today examined Bowring's tattered dry suit.
The ocean holds many secrets, none more mysterious than the disappearance of diver Patrick Bowring. The intrigue followed the discovery yesterday of his dry suit. Tattered and torn, it was fish from the ocean floor near where he disappeared on Friday. Amid speculation he was taken by a shark, the suit today was examined by a marine expert who remains unconvinced.
I think it's quite unlikely that the cause of his death was actually caused by a shark.
Two friends who were diving with Mr. Bowring have told police he appeared distressed as he returned to the surface. While it will be up to the coroner to find out exactly what happened, Mr. Gordon has his own view.
I think it's very likely that he's probably experienced some difficulty on the surface, and that could well have been the cause of his death.
It's thought he then sank to the bottom. Whether his suit was then torn by a shark or ripped open by rocks will be determined tomorrow by forensic experts. With still no trace of Mr. Bowring's body, the coroner has ordered there be another search of the area. It will be carried out by a team of professional divers who will attempt to recover his tanks and other diving equipment. Mr. Bowring's wife, Woman's Weekly editor Nini King, is still being cared for by friends.
The jury has retired to consider its verdict in the trial of a man accused of attempting to murder his wife twice. During the 8-day trial in Newcastle Supreme Court, the Crown claimed 42-year-old Graham Hall from Turmina on the mid-north coast hotwired his 37-year-old wife Jennifer's clothes dryer, making it live with 240 volts of electricity. It's also claimed he drove a car into the house while she was sleeping, hit her on the head with a hammer and shot her with a spear gun. Graham Hall has denied the charges. The jury will continue deliberations tomorrow morning. Still to come in the late edition news, researchers look to cats as a possible cause of arthritis.
He's not wearing Riders jeans. Get into the jeans that fit. Riders by Lee.
Now there's a line where you can talk to both men and women.
Talk to me.
Oh, talk to me.
Call the Chat Club on 1900 12 2000.
begin a new and exciting relationship.
Rating required. Call Mobile Money. We'll come to you. 466 000.
A 35-year-old man is recovering in Newcastle's John Hunter Hospital after being trapped in an Upper Hunter underground mine. The man was pinned under a piece of mining equipment at Warkworth's United Colliery early this morning. He suffered a broken leg. The accident comes in the wake of demands from State Mineral Resources Minister Bob Martin for the mining industry to adopt better safety measures. Meantime, striking miners have again met at the Vickery picket line near Gunnedah a week after they were asked to go back to work. The miners had each received a letter from the mine's owner, Novacoal Australia, urging them to start a 6-month trial of 12-hour shifts. However, the mining union plans to appeal the trial ordered by the Industrial Relations Commission. Union representative Steve Crockford says the miners have refused to go back to work, exercising their democratic right to strike until an appeal is heard. Novacoal General Manager Barry Hartshorn could not be contacted today. However, it's believed the company has a short list of 37 people ready to start work at the mine. There's been an alarming rise in the number of children severely burnt by a device to clear up coughs and colds. Doctors have issued a warning to parents over steam inhalators, which they say don't have any proven benefits.
When 2-year-old Rosie developed a bad cold last winter, her mum placed a humidifier in her room to ease congestion. Fascinated by the steam, Rosie put her hand over the vent.
At which point I sort of, ran across the room, but she kept her hand on it because she sort of didn't have the reflex to take it off.
Rosie's burns were so deep she needed a skin graft from her upper arm. A year later, she's only just had the pressure bandage removed.
Just shocked too, because I'd never considered humidifier. I'd never considered it a danger.
They are very dangerous because we've got a number of people who've stepped out of their bed and into the humidifier or knocked it over or pulled it down from a chest of drawers.
10-year-old James was using the home-style method of inhalation over a bowl of hot water.
The fumes were too strong and I pulled my head away and the towel pulled the bowl and the water spilled over me.
There was pretty big blisters and where it wasn't blistered the skin had just fallen right off his legs.
James was lucky his older sister knew to put him in a cold bath.
The doctors said that if Naomi hadn't have done that, his burns would have been a lot worse.
Burns are a tragedy for any family, but doctors here at the New Children's Hospital say it's a double tragedy when they're caused by steam inhalations, because there was probably no value in using them for treatment in the first place.
Yeah, that's the sad part about it. Not only is it completely preventable, but there are no studies that demonstrate that steam inhalation has any beneficial effect on either colds or croup.
Mice running amok in a Queensland school forced its closure for a mighty clean-up job. The rodents have ripped into school books and bags. Even children's lunches were stolen while they were in class.
For Wilsonton State School, this was no ordinary Monday, as buckets replaced books and teachers became cleaners. The giant mess has been created by thousands of mice over the past 2 months. No part of the school of 850 students has escaped the ravenous creatures, even gnawing through classwork.
They ate the side of the pages because they were just so desperately hungry.
The mice have also brought a stench.
Teachers have had to contend with on a daily basis the smell of urine and mice droppings and having the children handle equipment where mice have been.
So staff and parents decided to set baits and water traps over the weekend, keep the students away today and clean up.
We've taken the action that we took today to close the school simply from the health risk angle for the children.
Everything had to be wiped down and pieced back together. The teachers believe they could well be cleaning their way into the record books as the first school in Queensland to be closed for a day due to mice.
I've never heard of it before.
The heartbreak for some staff can't be wiped so easily, with years' worth of teaching materials ruined.
You store them away only to find, in a case like this, you've lost them all to the mice chewing their way through them.
A team of medical researchers has claimed children who kiss and cuddle their pet cats have an increased risk of developing rheumatoid arthritis in later life.
Cuddling a cat has always seemed harmless enough, but now we're being told we need to be more careful. Medical researchers have thought for years that microorganisms are to blame for the onset of the debilitating disease, rheumatoid arthritis. But the source of these germs is a mystery.
There's a chance that some organism carried by an animal might be transferred to a human which could then trigger a disease like rheumatoid arthritis.
Domestic pets is a perfect example of being a reservoir for microorganisms.
After more than 2 years of study, Adelaide researchers have found cats carry germs that are easily transferred to humans.
In terms of the elusive factor that might trigger rheumatoid arthritis, something carried by cats or birds may be a prime candidate.
The study found people suffering rheumatoid arthritis were much more likely to have had close contact with cats when they were in their early teens. Professor Clearland says children should continue to enjoy playing with their cats but need to be aware of the dangers. Kissing their pets and allowing them to sleep in their beds pose the greatest risks.
In the United States, searchers have recovered the cockpit voice recorder from the passenger jet which crashed near Miami more than 2 weeks ago. Packed in an esky, it was rushed to Washington for scientific analysis.
We want to do it under controlled circumstances so that we don't destroy the tape or destroy any information on that tape.
It's hoped the recorder can provide clues as to why the Value jet plane crashed into the Florida Everglades, killing all 110 people on board. The opening of Australia's first Planet Hollywood restaurant proved to have plenty of pulling power. Thousands of fans waited for hours for a glimpse of some of the big stars there for the occasion.
Australia's first Planet Hollywood bash was almost big enough to rival the Oscars, with the main thoroughfare, George Street, and 3 other busy streets closed to traffic for 12 hours. Sydney was brought to a standstill.
5 hours just waiting for Sydney.
I want to see the star. I want to see everyone.
Finally, what 20,000 people had been waiting for.
To stand out there and to wait for us is the highest form of flattery and compliment.
There were actually 2 parties, the lines drawn by tight security. Inside the movie memorabilia cafe, film stars and supermodels mingled with homegrown talent.
For the faithful fans, their party was strictly outside. Their reward for staying crammed together like a giant human sandwich was a guest spot from Bruce Willis's band, The Accelerators.
Bopping the night away. And one of Australia's own stars, former Neighbours heartthrob Jason Donovan, shone at another glittering event. He starred at Britain's biggest gay night of the year.
Please welcome the one and only Jason Donovan!
The event was the final of Mr. Gay UK. While Jason did the talking, the 30 contestants did the walking.
I love the hairs on your legs.
It was in stark contrast to 4 years ago when Jason successfully sued a British magazine for suggesting he was a homosexual. At the end of a long night on stage, Jason appeared tired and a little lost for words.
He seems a bit squirmy.
The eventual winner, a 20-year-old model from Leeds. Back after the break with action from the State Aerobic Championships.
The blocker and I will explain how easy it is to get free gear in Tui's Right Stuff promotion. Just send in 4 tokens and you get this great t-shirt. Send in 12 tokens and you'll get a dozen golf balls. And because you've got months to collect all these, send in 25 tokens and you get this great jacket. Tui's Right Stuff promotions. Write your name, we send you stuff. And there's heaps of other great gear too.
Geez, I'm glad Tui's ain't giving away cars, fat man.
This is the Panasonic Big Mouth. Why the Big Mouth? It takes 61 CDs. This is 61 CDs. And this is my friend Daisy. Open wide. Wider? You think that's a big mouth? This is a big mouth. 61 CDs in here? You figure it out. Did you gargle today?
Shane St. James, Australia's own hypnotist and mind magician, presents the craziest show you'll ever see. Be there to see members of the audience volunteer and carry on in a totally uninhibited way. It's the funniest show you'll ever see. You'll be mesmerised, paralysed, pasteurised, but can you be hypnotised? Don't miss Shane St. James. Appearing at Belmont 16-footers, Doyleson RSL, Curry Curry Workers, Greta Workers, Club Phoenix and Tuggerah Lakes Memorial Club. Fully reserved seating. Book a table now.
Lock your savings away safe and secure and watch them grow. With a Newcastle permanent fixed term deposit, you can now earn a high 7.75% for 12 months in the most secure investment you can make in our region. Invest $5,000 or more and earn up to 7.75% per annum with the strongest building society in Australia, the Newcastle Permanent.
Two of Australia's finest musicians join forces to pay tribute to the blues. Wilson Diesel, Short, Cool Ones. 16 tracks of raw and emotional blues. New FM and Brashes present Chris Wilson and Diesel.
If you should see my little red rooster.
Together in concert at the Workers' Club.
Don't stop me talking.
Wilson Diesel, Short, Cool Ones.
Australian aerobics representative Patsy Tierney has had the perfect workout before the World Championships next week with success in the New South Wales titles. Flashy performances at Newcastle's Entertainment Centre left many gym junkies in awe.
This is the style that has stunned judges. The routine leaving South Australia's Patsy Tierney 5 points clear of her nearest rival. The New South Wales title providing the perfect platform for Tierney as she prepares for the World Championships in Italy next week. But there's no need for complacency from the national champion in the coming years, following the performance of 16-year-old Lauren Farry, who finished second. Queenslander Michael Boyd reached new heights in his routine to win the men's title, just 0.3 of a point ahead of Victoria's Dean Wright. Earlier in the night, the future of the sport was on display. Cheltenham High winning the senior schools, Newcastle Grammar successful in the juniors. Richard O'Leary, NBN News, late edition.
I'm impressed. Trading on the Australian share market was fairly quiet today, with the All Ordinaries finishing nearly 7 points higher. Our dollar up a little to just over 79 cents US. Sport. The Olyroos have drawn 2-2 with Canada in an Olympic qualifier. After dominating for the first 20 minutes, the Australians allowed Canada to score first, but soon hit back through Goran Lovanovsky. Joe Spiteri scored the Olyroos second, sparking an unusual celebration among the players before the Canadians equalised in the dying minutes. The second leg of the series is in Sydney on Sunday, with the winner advancing to Atlanta. Queensland selectors have made sweeping changes to the Maroons team for the second State of Origin next Monday in Sydney. Mark Coyne, Julian O'Neill, Steve Walters and Andrew Gee are the new faces in the run-on side, while Kevin Walters has been added to the bench. Among those to get the chop, fullback Robbie O'Davis and former captain Trevor Gilmeister.
While the New South Wales selectors got their job out of the way last night, it wasn't as clear-cut for their northern counterparts. After a 4-hour meeting, a broom was put through the Maroons with 5 new faces and several positional changes.
Well, I can assure you I have got 5 sheets here, and that is the most sheets I've ever used in the State of Origin selection panel.
Playing his first game in 8 months, Steve Walters did enough yesterday to convince the men that matter he had recovered from a shoulder reconstruction. Walters replaces Wayne Bartram, who was dropped from the squad altogether.
I've been training as hard as what I can, and I'm just happy to be picked to play for Queensland. It's a real honour.
Despite playing in a league outpost, the Western Reds' Julian O'Neill is back in favour. The Broncos' Kevin Walters was the tip for the 5'8" spot, but O'Neill will partner new captain Alan Langer at the scrum base.
They have picked quite a well-balanced side, so it will be a crackerjack game Monday night.
The dropping of Gilmeister is seen as a victory for common sense over loyalty. Gilmeister got the job after last year's heroics, but failed in this year's Origin Game 1.
It's unfortunate for Gilly to be omitted from the side, but when a team does get beaten, unfortunately there has to be changes.
New South Wales is already in camp, all players fully fit and ready to wrap up the series.
Australia's Michael Doohan has won another absorbing duel with Honda teammate Alex Greville at the Italian Grand Prix. With the lead changing several times, Doohan scraped home by just 0.7 of a second. Daryl Beattie finished fourth.
Away we go. Greville was a man with a mission. A fortnight ago, he fell while leading on the last lap. This time, he couldn't be distracted. Capirossi crashed heavily, but was okay. Doohan and Greville slugged it out. The Aussie never panicked during a calculated ride.
He really is on
His
top
only
of this.
mistake came after the race. Doohan leads Catalora by 25 points in the Riders' Championship. Two big races in the US overnight. First, the breakaway Rebel IndyCar 500 in Michigan. Before the start, a 12-car crash. Part of Jimmy Vass's car breaks, and this is the end result.
And we have a crash in turn 4.
Following a restart, Vassar won in a backup car. Meanwhile, the Indianapolis 500 was being run simultaneously with plenty of drama. Buddy Lazar won, but behind him a sensational 3-car pileup.
And a crash on the finish. Big crash on the finish of the race. Salazar.
All drivers escaped serious injury.
Wow. Oh.
A Winston Cup NASCAR race was just as eventful, but more like Dodgems. This driver performing David Copperfield magic. And finally, stalled in traffic, everybody's nightmare. Once again, not one of these good old boys were hurt.
Still on the track, and the wife of a Victorian sidecar champion injured in a dramatic accident in Italy is tonight flying to her husband's bedside. Shane Sutar has been transferred to a larger hospital in Florence, where he's spoken to his family from intensive care.
Shane Sutar broke his leg and 2 lower vertebrae when his sidecar hit a wall during the warm-up for the World Championship at Mugello near Florence. At midday, his distraught wife Julie farewelled Shane's family and boarded a flight to Italy with her sister. Sutar also cut his tongue badly in the accident, but despite breathing problems has spoken twice to his family.
He's wild that it's happened, but we explained to him it wasn't his fault at all. That something definitely broke on the back of the bike. So he was a lot more relieved about that because a lot of people have helped him to get there, and he didn't want to let him down.
Both legs are in plaster, one badly bruised, the other broken in at least 2 places. Doctors say he has no head injury.